adventurous journey, I'd say, just like my mountain biking, with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of crazy downhill sections and tough climbs, but it was all rewarding. I definitely enjoyed the process, and it gave me a lot of learning, more than what I learned at my workplace. I also won bronze in the mass start in the same nationals. So 2 national medals in the same event, was very, very, very rewarding. People started to trust me and said, let's continue. But that is when slowly I started to think otherwise.
I am KYNKYNY and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guest is a special one. If there is ever going to be a mountain biking Hall of Fame for India, today's guest is sure to figure prominently in that. He's a multiple-time national champion in mountain biking for India, but his journey to the top of the sport is anything but a straight line and is amazingly inspirational. With his hard work and success, he has inspired many youngsters to take up mountain biking as a sport and look to do well competitively. His name is Kiran Kumar Raju, also known as KKR for all of us. Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast, Kiran. It is great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Ankit. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Thanks for that very, very nice introduction. Thank you. It makes me feel good, especially during such times. Just reminds me, okay, things have been good before.
Yes, of course. Right, you have done so much to mountain biking. In my opinion, not just in Bangalore but overall in India, because I think you have given a recreational athlete something to aspire to and do well at the top level of sport, and we will get into how your journey has progressed over the years and how all this transpired. Have you always been active in sports?
For me, I've been active in sports, but not organically, right? Because as a childhood, I used to play a lot of cricket in the streets, play badminton and all. But everything started this during my engineering days, to be very specific, and in third year, right? Being a civil student, we were part of a survey camp, which happens in the fourth semester, after fourth semester holidays. So where people, where the entire batch of civil students go to a survey camp. And there, usually what used to happen was we used to work throughout the day, like early morning. And once we come back, we used to work on the theory part of the practicals that we did in the morning, have lunch, then sleep. That is what everyone did. Because we went to Kaivara. It's a place, I think near Kolar or something. I forgot where it is exactly, but it was super hot there, easily about 33 degrees. We were working outside, out in the field, right? Everyone used to sleep post-lunch. They were knackered.
Kaivara is
a couple of more.
Towards Chintamani, yeah.
Chintamani, after Chintamani, yeah, very close to Chintamani, right?
Yeah.
So I was there, super hot sun. We stayed there for 2 weeks. The entire 2 weeks, I didn't sleep post-lunch. I used to play something or the other with a couple of more guys while everyone else were like sleeping or resting. So I used to play frisbee, play football, or play cricket with a couple of guys. And they used to take turns. One guy used to go back, sleep. The other guy used to come, I used to play with him. So I had a lot of energy. Looking at it, one of my classmates, who was also the athletics captain, said, Kiran, I see you have a lot of energy in it. Why don't you try endurance sport? See, I'm a middle distance runner who do 5 and 10 kilometer running. So why don't you join me today for the run? I went with them. That is the day it started, where I started loving the sport or started to do things a little more organically. Till then, everything was street play, gully cricket, football, table tennis at college, everything. I used to just play every sport, badminton. I was pretty active, but nothing in terms of like representing a college or a club. That day it started, and I was part of the college team for the cross country team for VTU championship in my third year of engineering. I finished 44th place. It is 12.5 kilometers. It's called as cross country racing. I finished 44th place. I had one more chance in my final year. So I trained really hard, and like we should do some. It's a team event where the top 6 runners of a particular college, all the positions are accumulated. Whichever college has the lowest point are declared winners.
Right.
So I was like, let's train together for one more year. This was in 5th sem. So I have 7th sem, which is my final year, right? So I trained hard for the next 1 year, even through the even semester also, that is 6th sem, though we didn't have any competition. I trained really hard. We went for the competition. I finished 11th place. Okay. 44th to 11th. Then I was very happy. Then, because it's a team event, remember, just not my position points, but everyone else.
Six
so
people,
I finished
right?
third among 6 people. I was the third guy to finish. So there's another two people who finished ahead of me. One was 4th, another guy was 8th. I finished 11th. So consequently, the other three runners finished, and we finished on top. I was over the moon that day. That was my first sports team achievement, right? And personally also, finishing 11th was never a target. For me, when I started running with the other 2 guys who finished ahead of me, like initial target was top 30. Then slowly as I improved, as I started to do well during the practice, they were like, Kiran, you should target top 20. When the competition almost came like top 15 should be a good target. Then when I finished 11th, I was like, oh, I was in tears. Forget. And the fact that I'll be on the papers telling that we are part of the VTU champions and stuff like that, I was really in tears because first time in my life I've achieved something that I'm proud of. Post this, I was a mediocre student, okay? I was a 2nd class student throughout my engineering. Post this 5th semester thing, survey camp, I catapulted in my studies too, because I was focusing my energy. I was active a little more organically. Right from 2nd class, I used to start doing well in studies and ended up in distinctions. Not even 1st class, like direct jump. Yeah. I mean, that gave a lot of confidence to me, right? I pursued masters just to enjoy 2 more years of sports life.
Wow.
Not big. And I didn't know I can get a seat in MTech. Then I went to Manipal. First semester I was class topper. I was like, unbelievable things happened. And I could only relate it to sports. Then eventually I was part of hockey team in college, table tennis team, athletics team, and cross country team. 4 representations during my engineering days only. In the last 3 semesters, I represented in 4 different events. So that gave me a lot of high confidence in life more than anything. So I didn't want to leave sports. That is where it all started. Then eventually work happened.
So this, you said 3rd year of engineering. How old were you?
20. 3rd year is 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So this is relatively late for starting in any sport, right? And you started with cross country, but ended up doing well in other sports like table tennis and stuff.
Hockey.
Yeah. So everything you picked up, you participated.
Yeah, field hockey. I was a university captain in my masters. I mean, I really loved field hockey. I mean, I think that was half the reason that I took up masters. I wanted to play more hockey because being a civil engineer, I knew once I start working, it'll be 6 days work schedule. unlike software engineers, which is 5 days.
Right.
So for me, I wanted to play more hockey, and the respect towards the national game increased a lot. It's not an easy sport. You need to run, but you need to run with an equipment, and you need to run not with a straight head. You need to bend down and run, right? Because you're dribbling the ball. So it's not easy. So I fell in love with the entire complexity of the sport, and I took up masters so that I can pursue sports for another 2 years, where I enjoyed hockey, table tennis, and running again in my MTech days. First day to college, straight to the sports complex.
Nice. Yeah. Brilliant. So you joined pursued masters to continue with sports, and you did well in sports through the masters. Yeah. So and once the masters is done, you got into working mode, right? So take us through what happened there. Were you able to do anything?
No, absolutely nothing. A lot of frustration built in the first 2 weeks, because being a civil engineer, working 6 days or 7 days at times, especially in the first few months, was really frustrating. Then I realized the only way to do, and more importantly, commuting through traffic, because my workplace was good 18 kilometers away on Kanakpura Road. I realized it's taking a lot of time and energy. Then I used to commute on my cycle to my college, the entire engineering, though it was very nearby, 4 kilometers each way. Then I time to get my bike back and start commuting to work, though it's 18 kilometers away. I enjoyed commuting to my workplace. I really, really enjoyed.
Which year was this?
Just felt 2011. 2011 to end of 2010. October is when I started working. End of 2010. I started cycling 18 kilometers each way. That's 36 kilometers, 6 days per week. I just commuted and enjoyed my journey to work. That was one thing that kept me motivated to go to work. Oh, I can cycle today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what bike was this that you were commuting?
Hero Hawk New Age.
Nice. My first bike as well.
Yeah. This was not my bike. It was my friend's bike. Because my bike, Hercules Top Gear, had gone into pieces. It was done. So I had borrowed my friend's bike. Anyway, I was not using it. Who was one of the runners who finished ahead of me. His name is Badri. Badri, you are aware of him. He was a volunteer at TFN.
Yes, Badri. Yeah.
Badri, short guy.
Right.
Yeah. So it was his bike. He gave me his bike. So I used to use his bike. Then later borrowed Francis' bike. A married MTB bike, I remember. So it was nice.
So you were using this to commute to work and do that. But the first time I saw you was in 2011 on Nandi Race Day. That day I was there to watch the BBCH Nandi Epic race. That was, I think, in October or November.
November.
October 2011, or something like that.
Correct.
So I saw this guy. I was just there I was not racing or anything around that time. I was riding my bulldog. So I used to, that year, I used to go to watch every BBCH race. So, and I was watching, taking pictures and stuff. And before the Nandi riders were able to make it to the top, I went to the top and I was waiting there. Okay. And taking pictures. So I was cheering and everything, and I saw one first rider was through, second rider was through, and I think fifth rider was through, and I saw him with sneakers. I don't know, some loose jersey, some sneakers, and he came and crossed the arch and fell down. What struck me was how loudly he was panting. I thought he was going to die. And it went on for like 5 full minutes. That made me realize that how hard he pushed, and he was almost about to pass out. And I remember that it was you. That was my first.
I'll never forget that.
First look at you, and I was like blown away. Tell me about how you ended up there in sneakers on Nandi Race.
Oh, 2011, my first year of like cycling racing, right? 2010, I always wanted to, then when I started commuting to work in the month of October, November, I started realizing, I think I should start doing something related to cycling because this is the only time I have got. Because anyway, I'm commuting to work. I stumbled upon tour of Nilgiris in the newspapers. I like, let's register for this event, and like put in, since there were contact details, I sent out a mail. Can I register for this event? They sent out, no, registrations are closed. No. They said the entry fee is around 12,000-15,000. Then I was like surprised. I just couldn't afford the money at that time. And I said, sorry, I won't be able to afford it. And I just left it. But I kept following them because I got to know through Facebook and all. They had organized a free ride, practice ride to Mysore with TFN support crew. And it was free. I got excited. Oh, it's free. I don't have to pay. I have to just go and come back. Go to Mysore one day, come back the other day, stay there overnight. I registered for that event. I went on my Hercules Top Gear. The bike was done, which was broken. I put it together because I didn't have any other bike. Badri had taken his bike, his Hero Hawk. So I took out this bike. I just rode it. I think we took about 7 hours to reach, 8 hours to reach Mysore. While returning, my bike just gave it. I mean, it couldn't take anymore, right? Then I got onto the support vehicle. Actually, there was another rider who had also given up. His Trek bike was there, Trek 3700, which was like the most common and famous bike back in the day. He said, you can ride if you want, if you have the energy. For me, I didn't ride because I'm done. So then I took out the bike, and I think I was trailing by 8 or 10 riders. I got so excited. I started riding so fast. I mean, although it was not a race, I was in that race mode. I started like overtaking everyone one by one. Vishnu Ranade, I remember the person, was a guy who was way ahead. I was like, oh, I have to meet him. I was like, any volunteer I see or the support crew, I like, how far is Vishnu Ranade? It's about 2 kilometers. I made sure I almost tried to reach it. By the time we reached, what's that? Merida Circle or whatever. What circle is it called? Where
Merida Circle.
Venki had this.
Merida Circle. Yeah.
So we reached that point. And I was almost met him. Then he was surprised. How did you reach so fast and stuff like that? Then from there, since I didn't have a bike, I went back in the support vehicle where I met Rakesh, who was the volunteer for TFN, who was part of the organizing committee. I said, I can't. I was very disappointed about TFN. He's like, why don't you ride TFN? I was like, no, I can't afford. So volunteered the event. That is when he gave me an idea to volunteer inside the Metro. I was like, okay, 8 days. You don't have to pay. Free food, free stay. You have to come and volunteer. I didn't think twice. Please register my name. I registered for the event. Got very, very excited. Next day I went to work, applied for leave for 8 days in the month of November, I guess. So like happy that it got sanctioned. When came to the event, that was my first interaction with the cycling community. I was only staring at every bike possible.
No,
I
but
made few friends.
But you, this Nandi race was in 2011, right?
Yeah, this was in 2010.
Before the Nandi race I am talking about, where you finished 5th. Was it in 2011?
Yeah,
or
was it 11.
Before
and I'm talking
TFN.
about 2010. Yeah, before.
Oh,
TFN.
you are talking about
2010 TFN.
Volunteering in 2010 TFN. Okay.
10, my first TFN. I made a lot of friends. I made a lot of friends, including you. I took your bike for a spin at, where's the beach place?
No, I was not there in 2010. I was there in 2011. Yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of friends, especially this rider by name Vinay Pyade or Vinay something. Okay. So I made good friends. Then I realized there are events, which is BBCH, registered for the first event. That year, I decided to beg, borrow, steal every possible bike that is needed for every possible race of BBCH. Like that, I started borrowing bike for the entire 2011. I think 10 bikes, 10 different races.
Okay.
So, and most borrowed bike is from Badri, is Fezari. He didn't ride the bike much, but I have ridden it more than him possible. I'm sure he will agree to it. And it used to collect dust. Every time he collected dust, like Badri used to call me and ask, Kiran, when are you taking the bike? Because whenever I used to return the bike, it was spanking new.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I loved cleaning the bikes. I loved keeping it clean and very nice. It felt good for me. So yeah, coming back to Nandi Race, it was again Badri's bike. I didn't want to give up on I didn't want to lose the continuity of racing, right? Irrespective of format of racing, I did all the brevet possible, right from January to April, 200, 300, 400, 600. And one of the days, brevet ended on Saturday evening. Sunday, there was BBCH race. I tried to come to that event. Unfortunately, I was late by half an hour. So I couldn't make it, right? So, and I had kept 2 bikes ready, borrowed from a bike store, Pedals and Wheels in Malleshwaram. Sachin is the person.
Yeah, Sachin.
Right. Sachin. So I've done a lot of borrowing in the entire 2011. Coming to 2011 Nandi race, I had, for all the races, I used to call all my best friends from college to cheer me up. And for this particular race, I had 3 friends cheering me all the way, especially on the hill. They used to say, Kiran, the rider is 200 meters away. Come on, push hard. Like somehow, I never knew I would love climbing. I never knew I'll be good in climbing. Just the cheering from those good friends of mine kept pushing me harder and harder and harder. I think, if I'm not wrong, I overtook about 2 to 3 riders on the hill itself, right? I just kept pushing hard. And by the time I finished, I was surprised that I finished 5th and I was done. I was done on that day. And I think after the race result, after a couple of days, it's when it sunk to me. I think I started enjoying climbs. Every time I see a climb, post that event, I should just go faster and faster possible. And that is when the love for climbs, and that is when I realized for my body type, and just everything synced well. Climbing, probably it's good for my kind of body. And yeah, the result, everything added up. And I just didn't fall back from that day onwards.
So you were borrowing bikes and riding for the events, say for all the events, so the MTB events and the road events, you were borrowing the bikes and riding them. Say you mentioned brevets as well in that you were borrowing.
Yeah.
But nothing was happening in between those events, right? You were not training, nothing, but you
Commuting
were
to work.
probably commuting to work. That was the only
Yeah.
training that was happening.
Only, only format of training.
Right.
It was a biometric system. I used to leave my house at 8:15, 9 o'clock, 45 minutes, 18 kilometers on Kanakpura Road. I used to race my heart out. VO2 effort, full 45 minutes, race effort every single morning because it was a time bomb. I had to
Right.
press my thumb into the biometric, right?
Right.
So it was all out every single day. There was not a single day that I enjoyed nature or
Yeah.
cycling. I was rushing every day. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So the BBCH journey, I want to stay a bit on that, right? Uh, the BBCH you have started doing on borrowed bikes like that. And that was like all of 2011. So did something change in 2012? Did you get your own bike, or was it still borrowed bikes from someone?
Or yeah, it was always borrowing bikes from someone. 2012, beginning, Vivek had just started his new team,
KYNKYNY.
SKCT, right? I was part of KYNKYNY team. I was part of their development program, not part of the main team. So
Right.
he told, I'll take you as part of the development program and see how you progress in the sport, and how, if we see more results, probably you'll be part of the A team. So I was like full excited and stuff, though nothing was given to the development riders, but a lot of guidance and mentorship was happening there, because I used to see in close quarters how the entire team was running. It was a big motivation to say, I want to reach there. I need the access to such facility and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So 2012 was more of developed under guidance from Vivek and his team. The entire 2012, it was more of borrowing stuff from Vivek's team, Wheel Sports, because they were part of the entire thing. And Rider Cycle Foundation, Deepak used to help me a lot the entire 2011, because I'd volunteered, and he blindly trusted me and said, the entire 2011, I raced for the team, RF, Rider Cycle Foundation, which organizes TFM. Right? So Deepak, Vivek and Venki played a big role from Wheel Sports in supporting me with equipment, rental gear, be it in terms of jersey, cycling space and stuff like that. Beginning of 2013, Vivek said, now you'll be part of the main team, but you'll be under the MTB program. That is when I got my first bike, right? And the entire 2013, every MTB race I took part, I won them all. One after another, one after another. I was so excited. I was so excited. But there's a little drama that happened before my first MTB race on my sponsored bike. So
what was that?
Vivek calls me. I met with a major accident in the month of February. I broke my jaw. I had about 8 stitches on my face. I mean, nothing happened to my hands, and I mean, my limbs were fine. That was the best part. I mean, I still remember telling him, because Vivek had just called me and said, Kiran, you're part of the MTB program. You'll be getting access to certain degree of equipment and accessories and stuff like that. You're still not on the road program, but we will give you gear to race whenever you can, because I'm still working 6 days per week.
Right.
I'm not training full time. I don't have a coach and all. Then I met with an accident right in 2 days. First thing that I worry is, will Vivek continue to support me, or is my contract done? Even before it started. Then he was like, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. I was on liquid diet for a good 3 weeks. I lost even more weight. I was already lean.
Yeah.
And I came to 54, 55 kilos. And in next 4 weeks, there was BBCH MTB race, the first MTB race.
Right.
I first, and new bike, brand new bike. Vivek said, you're still part of the team. Don't worry. We'll take it one step at a time. I was not using cleats still.
Yeah.
New bike, first time on cleats, 4 weeks, race day.
What happened? How did you crash? What was the crash?
So I used to play Ultimate the entire 2011 and 12, along with my cycling commute to work. So I used to play Ultimate for 3 days per week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, every morning at Baswangudi. So I used to cycle there, play Ultimate, and go back to work, and then come back. So it was a duathlon that I used to do every day, right? Cycling, then go Ultimate, go play Ultimate, run a lot there in the field. It's almost like a football game where you're supposed to keep running always, right? On that particular day, I had introduced a new friend of mine to the sport of Ultimate. So I was very excited because he had a different sporting background, who was also a volunteer at TFN, Roshan Lobo.
Right? Roshan, yeah.
Yeah. So I had introduced him to the sport and I had called him for Ultimate Frisbee. So I was very excited on that morning because I knew it'll be a great add-on to the team, right? I used to play for this team called as Disco Divani, DOD in short, right? I really enjoyed playing that sport and I miss the team right now. So that day I was very excited in the morning. I was cycling super fast to the ground so that I can introduce him to everyone of them. I got carried away. I saw a dog coming. Next thing I remember is on the road. Big crash. I landed on my face onto the tarmac early morning near Oakleepuram on the streets. Then I'm bleeding all over my face. I had my braces back then, so I couldn't move my mouth well. I mean, then came back home, little unconscious, tired kind of thing. I didn't know where the bike was and stuff. Came back, went to the hospital, got my sutures done on my face. Then when I started eating, my jaw was not meeting. Right? I couldn't grind my teeth.
Right.
So then I had to go back to my dentist because I had my braces. So he looked at it and said, "We need to get an X-ray done." He got the X-ray done. He says, "Kiran, I think your jaw is broken. We need to get a MRI done." So went to the hospital. He saw like MRI. You have to undergo surgery. You have a broken jaw, right broken jaw. Fortunately, it's right there. We can fix it. You'll be on liquid diet post that. So they wired me up post-operation. I was talking to people. I mean, I couldn't even talk back then initially. I was on liquid diet for 3 weeks. It was very, 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 very tough time during that phase, right? I couldn't eat. I couldn't talk to friends. People used to come, meet and go. Then post that also, every time there was vibrations, like when I'm traveling on a bike or a cycle, they hit a bump or something, the shock used to send all the way through my head, and it was not a good feeling. So it was very tough for me, especially that time. So I had to like grind my teeth and write, so hold it together kind of thing. Then again, I underwent another second set of operation to remove the wires. From my jaws.
Right.
Everything happened. Then I started practicing for the race. Whatever I could. New bike, first time on cleats, MTB race. I was very excited. Let's do whatever I can. So I went to Thurali. Fortunately, Thurali and my workplace was 1 kilometer away. So after work, I went there, practiced the course, which was almost marked kind of thing. So I knew where exactly how tough it's going to be because of my jaw and vibrations. I have to be very, very careful. Richard from Hyderabad was there. Craig was there. My first race, there were a lot of roadies. Sridhar Savanur was on his road bike. I mean, was on his MTB bike for that race. So a lot of big guys were there. I was nervous because my first race on a new bike, sponsored equipment and stuff like that. I was very excited. Then I just rode hard the entire race. Guess what? I finished first. I was like, over the moon. right? Especially meeting people
Richard
like
and with Richard,
Craig.
McDowell and Craig is not an easy thing.
Craig,
Right.
not an easy thing. Yeah, then
Was
every
this
race in that year,
like a 4 kilometer loop that
loop,
included
yeah,
the
4 kilometers.
downhill?
Yeah, 4 kilometer loop that included the sketchy downhill and the tough climb to the temple.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That
the
is
tough
a
long climb.
that is a serious loop.
Yeah, yeah, very serious loop. Trust me. Yeah, I was very happy to, I mean, won that race. With that race, another thing happened was Ashish Sood was there from Spa, who gave away free entry to MTB Himalaya the following month, in the month of April.
Oh.
So I went there to that event. I think it was a free registered event. I traveled there. I won the race there also after a bit of drama again. I had a flat in the first day, then made up all the time in the following stages and won the race to an Italian there. So
Wait a minute. Not so fast. So you won the MTB race after all the crash and staying on liquid diet for 3-4 weeks and training the 3-4 weeks before the race.
yeah,
And won the race, won entry to MTB Himalaya. And then
Shimla, MTB Shimla, the shorter version.
Okay,
The 2-day version. MTB Shimla.
MTB Shimla was 2 days or 3 days?
2 days event.
The weekend event, right?
Weekend event in the month of April, May.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what happened the first day there?
So first day, so the race format was like this. Every day you had 2 stages, which was split in for the day. You finish one stage and there's a neutral section and you have another stage. So first stage, day 1, 2 kilometers before the finish line, super fast downhill. I had a rear flat. I was not running tubeless yet because tubeless was still new to me.
Right.
I was still getting to know about the sport and what needs to be done. So I had a flat. I tried to fix the puncture. Somehow I couldn't. So I ran with the bike to the finish line, crying again. Happy or sad, just crying. That's my thing. So everyone came to console me and stuff like that. They gave me their fancy tubes, puncture resistant tubes, and also I flipped the tube in. Since there's a neutral section, I recovered myself and like, let's not give up and see how best I can do and see what can be done in the next 3 days. Next 3 stages, that is day 2, 2 stages, and day 1, the second stage.
Yeah.
So I did my best. I just pushed myself continuously, especially day 1, second stage after the flat. I was motivated, right? There was a tough, long climb, very technical climb. I didn't give up. Probably every other rider in that climb got off the bike. I was very motivated and realized this is the section where someone will be suffering. This is a place that I should be making time.
Right.
This is the thing that ran into my head. So I pushed so hard because I remember that hill very well, because when I went back to that event in 2014, I got off the bike.
Okay.
So now I can relate how motivated I was in 2013 there. So I went there. End of the day when they announced the results, I was a good minute and a half behind the Italian rider. So day 2 comes. First stage, I make up all the time. Full 1.5 minutes. I'm like super motivated. I start behind him. It's an ITT format style. And I make sure he starts ahead of me. I catch up to him and make up all the time possible. Final stage, I put another 1 minute ahead of him. So I make up 1.5 minutes, then put another 1 minute, and I won the event by 1.5 minutes. I was like very, very excited. Got to know more about what stage racing is, how to endure, how to be calm and patient and pace ourselves out. It was very, very exciting. And I came back again, one of MTB event, right? Because every alternate month, another MTB event, another Richard and Creek episode. I think Richard had a flat in that race.
Hmm.
He was leading the race entirely, and in the last 2 laps, I started pushing, and even he had to like follow my tail, right? And that is when he had a flat. Then I like he didn't have a flat. It's because I started pushing. He had a flat. Is what kept me kept thinking in my head,
Right.
right? So it was very very nice. I mean, the entire 2013, I really enjoyed how mountain biking went for me. I was very motivated. Then yeah, I went to MTB Himalaya that year. It was very, very tough. The long format of it, 8 days, racing in like super cold temperatures, long days. Imagine 80 kilometers per day racing back to back without rest day for 8 days was the toughest I've ever participated because it was raining every single day. I hate rain. I hate cold. I can't withstand cold. Early, if you had to get up early morning, and that was the most adventure race I've ever participated. Right? Yeah, yeah, something that I will not forget. 2013. Yeah.
Right. So 2013 basically kind of made a racer out of you, as in people kind of saw you, saw your passion, the way you were pushing on the bikes, in the races in throughout 2011 and 2012 on borrowed bikes. And that kind of earned you initially in 2012, I think, a development rider thing in SKCT, and then into MTB part of the MTB program of SKCT, and that kind of propelled you into the MTB area, because I think that kind of gave you a chance to discover your technical abilities or develop those technical abilities. And I think what strikes me is that you have a really good VO2 kind of efforts, that short bursts that you can keep going, pushing hard, and that kind of suits the MTB riding as well, right? Along with the ability to ride technical sections.
Yeah, it's all because of commuting in short time.
Right.
Like, you remember, it was all 45 minutes VO2 kind of efforts and recover only at traffic junctions and maneuvering between traffic. So that's how I developed probably my MTB skills, or started enjoying MTB better. And I was a notorious motorbiker also. Like, I used to love zipping in traffic and enjoying.
Okay.
Now I'm like really sobered down, being more responsible. But back in the day, in college days, though I used to borrow bikes from my friends, motorbikes, no one used to dare to sit behind me and say like, no, not behind me. Stuff like that, yeah.
So you have Bangalore traffic also to thank for your MTB skills there.
101%. I definitely enjoy and miss riding in Bangalore traffic for sure.
Right. So staying on the MTB thing, right? Or rather BBCH thing. So you were riding both MTB as well as road races. You were participating in road races as well, right? So 2012, you moved from 5th place to 4th place. Third place on Nandi Hills. Okay.
Yeah, 2013 was third.
2013 was...
Oh, sorry. 5, 3, 4, 2 is the is the chronological order.
Correct. 2011 was 5th. 2012 you finished 4th. Again on a borrowed bike.
Third. 2012 was third.
Okay. So 2013 was second, is it?
Fourth.
Okay. 5, 3rd, 4th, and then second. Okay.
Yeah.
So by 2014, you came on second. And when was your...
12?
Yeah. So 2015.
That was 2014. 2000. It was 5, 3, 4. Then 21. 2014, 21st place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. When did you finally make it to the podium, as in top step? When did you win the Nandi Race?
16, 17, 18.
16, 17, 18, you won the race, successively. Consecutively.
Yeah.
And 2015, you finished second.
Second, yeah. 2E0.
2E0, okay. That trajectory speaks volumes, right? The never give up attitude and the kind of progression you made over a period of time, right? That to me was a great story. And coming to this one, right? The what was like 2013, you went and did well with SKCT support in all the MTB races. How did the subsequent events peter out in terms of progression in MTB events 2014 and 15 onwards?
So 14 was good in terms of my personal growth in professional career. I got promoted at work. I was handling 3 different projects. That means commuting to 3 different locations, which also meant I couldn't cycle from one place to another between sites. I only go to one place and come back, right? Which meant I couldn't cycle as much as possible in the year 2014, right? Though I enjoyed personal growth at workplace, biggest thing that I was missing was I couldn't commute to work. That was more frustrating, which resulted in very not good results in my cycling career.
Okay.
I didn't do well in the races that I participated in. I had a couple of crashes. Then Nandi Race obviously ended up in 21st place. I almost struggled to finish the race, which was compared to where I was always finishing top 5 before that. So it was very, very heartbreaking and frustrating for me. And that is where I realized I think I enjoy more happiness doing well in cycling than enjoying success at workplace.
Okay.
And that is where I started to think, I think I should start following cycling a little more seriously than work. Okay. A thought came to my head, right? Then I met Megha, who's my wife, who had quit her job and trying to follow her passion of traveling. She had her own setup of new workplace in Mysore, where she was following her passion, and she was like indirectly motivating me to follow your passion than doing something that you don't love. And she was like a biggest factor and motivator for me to say, just quit your job and pursue cycling and see how best you can do. When I went to Vivek and Naveen John, who were part of the core team in end of 2014, or maybe end of 2014, that I want to pursue cycling full time and progress in the sport of mountain biking. They were shocked because we don't have as many mountain biking racing events back then. There's only 2 national events, one MTB Kerala, second MTB Nationals. That's about it. Yeah. For you to sacrifice your entire professional life will be a very, very big sacrifice. And also being an eldest son, the responsibility at house adds up to it, right? But somehow I didn't listen to them. They told me not to quit the work. I didn't bother. I went ahead, put my papers in the month of December, so that I could also participate in TFN in the year 2014. So I went ahead, put down my papers, participated in TFN, then started training. After that, Naveen John, who had a lot of experience in the sport, and realized this guy is super hungry to do something. It's good for me to like support and guide him through. He took me onto his mentorship program and started coaching me professionally. It started in the month of March 5th or March 4th. I clearly remember the first day of training with him. That is when it all started off. Cycling coaching organically. Till then, it was just commute to work, ride on the weekends to Nandi or something like that. Nothing organically, right? Nothing without knowledge. So Naveen John took me on to his training program. I was probably the first student, I don't know. I started just following him blindly. April 2nd week, there was Vodafone Marathon, Vodafone Cycling Marathon in Bangalore, at Koramangala. It was 40 days into my training. I took part in the event. I was super excited. I didn't finish top 10 or something. It was a crit race, point format race. But I was always in the front riding and enjoying. I was surprised to see that I could now compete with the roadies with just 45 days of legit training. That got me really excited and to believe in the support and the training methods. I just blindly from that day onwards started following the training regimen. Went to MTB Kerala, which will give an outside. NJ said, just stick to the training program. We have 3 more months to go to nationals. You should be doing good. Nationals came. NJ sat out of his road nationals during that year because he was injured during that time, and he decided to support me completely. 2015, he was there. Beginning of 2014, beginning of 2015, there was also another nationals. 2014 nationals happening in the month of February. I'd taken part in the event. I'd finished 7th place in both time trial and mass start. I'd got to know roughly how the event is organized, how the competitions are. That is when I had interacted with the army riders also, who are the main driving force back then for mountain biking, right? Who used to sweep away the podium. Went to nationals, time trial, NJ puts out the plan. I first time realized that's how you need to prepare for a national event. Because previous year, I went and stayed with the state team at the organizers' accommodation, ate the food that they gave. Trust me, it was not how it was supposed to be, right? Not getting into details, but later when NJ came on board, things completely changed. He just put out an example or a carbon copy how it needs to be done for national lead up to the nationals. He was there at the event. He stayed with me for the last 4-5 days. 3 days before the event. I was there a lot before the event. I went and stayed there, and he joined me in between. He came there. He cooked food for the next 3-4 days and took care of me. All I did was to rest, recover, take care of my bike. We just made sure everything else is sorted. We never had, we went and chopped vegetables, cooked our own food, ate the food, went to the event. Our plan was planned out. NJ had put out everything, the entire map of the route, wind directions, efforts, zones, sections, where the attack needs to be done, where you need to ease out. Everything was planned. I stuck to the plan. Event was done. I was so happy to realize I won my first gold in the time trial championship. Wow. The moment and the time was surreal for me to win my first national championship. It was all worth all the sacrifices, the load that I put on my parents for trusting in me and the team. It was an amazing time, which I'll never forget.
Right. So end of 2014, you quit the job. Despite the your support system saying Vivek and NJ saying that's a stupid idea, you went ahead and did it anyway. You took part in TFN 2014 and then started focusing on the MTB events, and eventually under the guidance of coaching of NJ, you who saw your passion for the sport to give up the job, you you went and won your first gold at nationals. When was this? 2015? October.
September 18th. Yeah.
September 2015. That is quite a thing, right?
Yeah.
Dreaming and achieving that from having a very circuitous route into a late entry into the sport, very circuitous path to sport, borrowing bikes, and then eventually getting into a team that gave you a support, then falling off in 2014 with the growth in professional career, but then coming back and taking that step to trust your instinct as to giving your best. To be able to give your best at sport, you have to see, take a break from work and see how far I can take it.
Yeah.
And coming out, did you feel vindicated by that? And what was the reaction for you and your support system around after your 15 nationals?
It was, it was definitely amazing. Felt really good. It took some time to sink in. I also won a bronze in the mass start in the same nationals. So 2 national medals in the same event, was very, very, very rewarding. People started to trust me and said, let's continue. But that is when slowly I started to think otherwise after a few months, because I was 28 year old, 2015. 2015 is 28 years. I couldn't survive the sport in spite of all the support system. I had to take care of, unlike road nationals, where when people win medals at road nationals, they're selected to various sports quota programs like services or the railways. There was no reward system for MTB, and it still doesn't exist even now, right? So, which I was thinking otherwise before that. Right, because that was for me a selling point to my parents, telling that probably tomorrow I might get a job from this, or something to keep going,
right?
Something to look forward to. But it was very tough, and it was not like we had many MTB events where cash prizes were at stake, where I could go and win and continue the sport. Right. And also the fact that the KYNKYNY team was about to get dissolved in the year 2015 was a major step down for me, right? Because they were the major chunk of support system for me that I had.
Right.
So that things like this started adding up, and I started to think otherwise, probably to start looking at sport into a different angle and get back to my civil engineering so that I can survive and take care of the family. Right. But spoke with a couple of friends. One friend that day just moved me a lot. Said, Kiran, you've achieved so much. You've become now almost the #1 mountain biker in the country. Don't give up. We will do something for the support system that you need. Don't give up right now. Just continue to.
Who was this?
Follow. This is KYNKYNY.
Wow.
Rowan Kinney's sister. Yeah. I just met her, just happened to meet her. She started to ask questions. And I was like, I don't know, for some reason started talking a lot. And she wanted to get to know more details because she was part of the cycling industry. So back then she was part of the PODS program, right? So she wanted to know more, and she said, Kiran, she cheered me up. She said, don't give up the sport. right? Let's see what can be done. We will try to connect people. We are in the industry. We'll start approaching to people, because till then I never knew how to do things.
Right.
And I sat down and I was like, okay, approaching people. Okay, I've never done this before.
Right.
Let's start doing it. Right? Slowly, she started getting her contacts. I started pulling out my contacts from obviously the entire BBCH community, TFN biodata, or the friends that we know of, brands that I know of. Started approaching to people and seek for support if something can be done without any agenda or goal. I just need some support so that I can continue the sport. I approach every possible brand. I need equipment. Cycling, everyone knows, is an expensive sport. Not easy to survive without that minimum support system, right?
Right.
Then I met Balu, right? Balu runs BMBT and good friend of Sunil. Then Balu said, I'll try to do a little bit of crowdfunding for you so that you need some money that you can travel to. Balu took all the initiative. He did all the crowdfunding through his contacts, involuntarily trying to help me. Said, so I'll try to do something, see if it will be of any help. Then I started approaching every other brands. Then a couple of brands replied back, but one particular brand, Trek,
right,
gave me an amazing reply. And Viju, whom I knew before through Viju Varghese, through Bangalore BBCH days that he was working there, gave me a lot of positive feedback and said, we'll try to do something through Trek, Firefox back then, right? And it was very motivating. And I was like looking forward to it. It took a lot of time, to be frank. I mean, we started the process in the month of February 2016. By the time I had the bike in my hand, it was August of 2016.
Okay. Yeah.
So I really had to hold on to myself, have a lot of patience, keep training till then with whatever equipment I have, and keep racing.
Right.
Then Trick came on board. It gave me a push, right? Meanwhile, Mega was trying to support me whatever she could mentally so that I could keep my focus on.
Right.
And I was trying to fight the game of getting Mega home also.
Right.
Right? A lot of things. So then one thing that I realized during this phase was winning national championship was easy than convincing my father to get Mega married to me.
Okay.
So I had to keep everything at bay and balance out everything because I wanted everything in terms of cycling. I can't just be focused towards cycling because I was 29, 30 by then. I wanted someone to take care of me. Someone was dear to me and supported me. And so I had to do stuff at house, but talk about, it was not an easy journey. End of 2016 and 17. Then, so Trek came on board. Something that said, Kiran, continue the sport. Balu kind of helped me with some kind of finances so that I could survive and take care of myself, because the overheads for cycling was pretty high in terms of nutrition, coaching fees, traveling to races, because not every cycling race will have big amounts of cash prize, right? So somehow I did through. 2017 came. My father agreed to Mega. That was like winning a world championship to me, right? Trust me. When I say that, trust me, because the entire community or my entire family members were shocked that my father was convinced for me, right? Because he was the one who actually used to be against for other cousins of mine when they went ahead and got their marriages done, right? So that took a lot of perseverance from my side, a lot of energy, more than cycling. But somehow I had to balance it both, and I knew that there's more to life than just cycling.
Yeah.
So I had to balance that plate really, really well. 2017, we got married in the month of March 24th. Then I didn't look back. I had Mail on my side. I had Trek on my other side. I just made sure I put the most of my energy and my focus towards cycling and get my best, right? 2017, 2018 flew, or 2017, 18 and 19 flew. Yeah. 2018, we had a baby, right on our anniversary, nice. Right? Right, which was not planned and stuff like that. But it was very nice. It was very rewarding for me that I could balance my family, personal growth. Because for me now, personal growth is not professional career. I have switched from work to cycling.
Right.
So now professional, when something like personal growth was like in terms of family.
Right.
I got married, having a child, just gave me more confidence to do things in life. And I started to enjoy the sport, enjoy the support system. In spite of support from Trek, because back then Trek in the year 2016, 2017, 2018, it was only equipment support. I still needed some funds to take care of needs. And I started doing crowdfunding also, because I realized that I got selected for the national team, which needs to go to China for the Asian Championship. So a lot of training for it was needed. So I raised funds. You yourself, I'm sure, I remember everyone who contributed towards that fund. It was close to 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs, right? So, raising funds, personal crowdfunding when Balu did it, then public crowdfunding, then Trek being on board. It was a adventurous journey, I'd say, just like my mountain biking, with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of crazy downhill sections and tough climbs, but it was all rewarding. I definitely enjoyed the process, and it gave me a lot of learning, more than what I learned at my workplace. I could never talk to people before. I never had the confidence to talk like this before.
Right.
Trust me, it's all because of the sport and the achievements in the sport that has given me confidence to talk, and or something that I can look forward to and feel good in life. So that's what sport has given me, and I'm very, very happy. And
this is amazing journey, man. The mostly it shows it is very inspirational in the sense that it is not just, as I said at the start, it is not a straight line, right? Some people start at sport very early as kids, and then gradually, with parent support, or they grow in sport as they grow on, and do well at Nats and do stuff like that. But you started very late. You had to struggle for the resources. You had to borrow stuff. You have to, through your sheer determination and passion, you made things happen. And until you actually achieved your dream of being a national champion at the sport, right? So from 2015, how many national championships did you win, and what years were these?
So 2015, I won gold in time trial. 2016, I defended my gold in time trial again. So that's 2 gold. But in the mass start, I graduated from bronze medal to silver medal. 2017 was a tough year in terms of the course, because it rained. The entire course was slush, and I was not a natural lover of wet condition and cold condition. So that kind of put my plan into a different situation, which I was not prepared for. But still, I mean, I did fairly well. I did two silvers in both the events. I didn't win gold, both silvers. 2018, I won gold in the master for the first time, and silver in the time trial. So that was my first national championship in the master event. In the cross country Olympic. 2019, I ended up in the bronze medal for the Olympic for the master event and fourth place for the time trial. So that's like 9 medals in the recent nationals and the 2020 nationals, which happened in February. I didn't, for the first time, didn't win any medal in my individual events. Finished 4th and 6th in time trial and master event, respectively. They introduced team relay format for the first time, which happens only in the World Championships, where 2 boys and 2 girls, 2 men and women participate. Won a silver medal there. So that's the silver lining from 2020 nationals for me. But no individual medals this year. Yeah, that's been my national performance till date. 7 nationals, about 9 medals.
So now you are what, 32? 35, right? So almost the masters category in most areas. So what now in terms of sport and future in sport?
Right now I am considering. I've never told anywhere, but I'm just considering this nationals to be my last nationals and working towards it accordingly. I just want to give it all and do my best for one last time at the nationals for both road and MTB. I want to do the road also because I missed last year. Though I've done only 2 road nationals till date. Saying that, I don't know if I will still continue to participate in national sports. That it all depends on how that national goes for me, right? The feeling that I have from that nationals. For me, I decide based on how rewarding the journey was, how the event went for me. Was it good enough? Did I give my best, irrespective of the result, right? So right now, as of now, my goal is to think that this will be your nationals and participate as if you don't have one more to go. Post that, as of now, I want to stay in the sport. Obviously, don't go back to my civil engineering days. Stay in the sport, contribute to the sport in different ways in terms of mentoring and supporting young kids, which I'm trying to overlap right now slowly with whatever resources I have. For example, this year, because Trek had been such a great supporter for me, I had access to 3 different mountain bikes when nationals happened. Just before nationals happened, like 6 months before, I was feeling guilty that people are struggling to have bikes, and I have 3 different bikes. I mean, 2 bikes with a new bike on its way. I was feeling guilty that I should do something with it, right? Then I decided, started mentoring. Anyway, I started mentoring 4 or 5 youngsters from the mountain biking community in Bangalore. I had told them in the beginning when I started to work with them that any rider, if I see when the time is right, and if I see a rider is doing really well and is feeling he or she is not able to progress just because of lack of equipment, I will fill in that spot. Is in spite of whatever contractual conditions I'm part of.
Brilliant.
So, which means I was ready to let go of my personal equipment, which was given to me by Trek, to the rider. Hopefully that he or she will fit into it. So I saw this rider, Harshit, was doing amazingly well in terms of his training and his progress. So was part of the under 18 category. So I decided 1 month before, because mountain biking, you need to get used to the bike, not just riding a bike on the event day is not enough, right? So I gave him my bike and said, start using them, start getting used to the bike, how it handles and stuff. Because he was riding a Firefox bike but putting out a lot of power and always had the bike in parts always, because the bike couldn't take the beatings or the impacts of mountain biking, right? So I just gave him the bike. He started training with it. Lead up to the nationals, he went to the nationals. He did really well. I was so happy that I did the right decision. He won 2 silver medals in both the time trial and the master, and gold in the team relay event. I was feeling so satisfied. I was very happy that, the guilt of having a lot of equipment at disposal went away, like within no time. Even though, like I was feeling, though I didn't win any medal for myself at the nationals, just those medals from him made me feel good about that event. Otherwise, I would have felt even more bad. Probably I would have quit the sport by I don't know. Right?
No, but you know the value of the support, right? The value of support for an athlete who is hungry and passionate, and you have seen that how important that support is for someone like you, and you reciprocated, and you are passing on that. That is great to see, right? So, what is his name again?
Harshit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was nice. That is what I want to do going forward with whatever support system connects that I've made in the community. Like, for example, I'm sure I've approached you a couple of times with respect to young riders, what needs to be done, or passing on a rider's information from one person to another, where someone can put them to use, right? Put the resources to use. So I want to use the knowledge, the experience, and mentor young riders who are taking up the sport seriously. Make sure the sport develops and one day hopefully reach its international stage at the world level, hopefully. Yeah.
Great. So now I want to any discussion with you without talking about TFN is going to be a crime, right? Because your entry into sport almost TFN had a big impact on your progression and for your support and stuff like that. So you we talked about it at the start of the podcast about how you actually ended up you trying to register but couldn't afford, but you ended up as a volunteer there, and that's kind of opened up the cycling as a sport for you, opened your eyes and ways to train and stuff like that. Now you came back, you obviously you volunteered there in 2011 and stuff, but you came back as a rider. When was it you coming back as a rider?
2014. So I volunteered in the year 2010, 11 and 12. I volunteered for 3 straight years. 2013, I couldn't volunteer nor participate in the event because I decided back then, because that is when my cycling career had started. Either I am participating in the event or I am not wasting my time 8 days volunteering in the event, because I was part of the KYNKYNY MTB program. All my leaves were done with respect to traveling to all the races throughout the country. So I couldn't register as a volunteer nor as a participant at TFN for 2013. 2014, 2013. 2014, I quit my job. First thing that I had on my list was to participate at TFN. Deepak was kind enough to give me a free spot, give me an entry into the event. And I was very, very excited. Though I didn't train for the event in the year 2014, because that is when I I used TFN as my training ground to start my cycling career in the year 2014. So I took part in the year 2014. 2015, unfortunately, I had a tailbone issue. I was supposed to participate. I hit my tailbone in the month of November or October, which the doctor suggested just bed rest, and I couldn't cycle and it used to hurt a lot. And there was no other remedy apart from rest.
Resting.
So 2015, yeah, resting. 2015, I didn't. I came there because I couldn't miss. Anyway, I didn't have a job, so I came there as a volunteer in the year 2015. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I was there at TFN.
Right,
participating. Riding.
And you hold the King of Kalhati KOM on Strava, as well as the KOK King of Kalhati prize they have in TFN.
Yeah.
So how many years was it all through?
No, not in 2018. Because that is when Niels came back and took it from me by 30 seconds. So 2017 I won, but 2018 Niels came. Sorry, 2017 Niels took it. Or 2018. The following year I decided. I asked Francis, or rather you. I just wanted to know what's the fastest time for the entire segment. Yeah. And it was 1 hour, 7.5 minutes, 1 hour, 8.5 minutes by an expat. I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
Then I started targeting the entire segment. I wanted to not just set the segment, not just the class segment, but the entire segment. And I was so happy that I could do it in the year 2018. 2018? Was it? 2019? Yeah, 2018. 2018 when NJ was there, and I had no choice but to push. NJ was there, extra motivation. So I just gave it all. Probably, the largest I've gone on Kalhati that day.
Yeah. Right. And you still have that Strava KOM, right? For the climb?
I think so. Yeah.
It is just under an hour, right? 58 or
58.34.
58.34. Amazing, man. Amazing. That is something that I mean, records are meant to be broken, but I'm sure. I am sure it will take a hell lot of an effort to break that one, though. It is going sub-hour on that beast of a climb is something else.
Yeah.
So great. This is pretty inspiring. Your journey, as I said multiple times, is like an MTB course, right? Completely circuitous, never straight, up and down, and I think you navigated as well as anyone can, and you with all the constraints that you have had, you left your job, you managed with the resources you had, and of course with the support of likes of Mega, your then girlfriend and wife now. I mean, I think I'm very happy that you found her, and that is a support like no one else can offer, right?
100%.
It's amazing that both of you I have progressed together over the years. Now with the kid in the picture, you're becoming more responsible both in personal life and professional life, mentoring others, mentoring the kid at home. This is great to see, man. Thank you for taking the time and sharing your journey with us. To end the session, what are some of the tips you would give to working athletes to do well in sport while doing well at work and family lives?
Yeah, for me, I think most important thing is cycling is not the only thing. It's very important to balance personal life growth. For me, personal life and professional career was professional career for me was cycling. Unlike others, not everyone will be doing the same. For someone else, professional career will be at their workplace, personal life will be family, and cycling will be passion. It's very important to balance everything in order to take in order to deviate into one step a little more forward. You have to make sure I can do, I could do rather, right? It was very important of me not to just think about cycling throughout, and also think about my personal life in terms of my relationship or family as I grow. Because tomorrow I might meet with an accident and break my leg or two. What next? I need someone to be there with, someone to take care of me, right? Right. So that is something that I always dwell and tell people about. Cycling is good, but apart from that, make sure you pull along all the others also, so that you have a fruitful, long life ahead. When falls, you have the others to look towards and look forward. Right. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Kiran. Thanks again for your time and sharing your journey with the Working Athlete podcast. I am looking forward to getting you back on the podcast, talking about more in detail about the MTB scene here, how it can progress and stuff like that. But for now, thanks again.
Thank you so much, Venki. Thanks a lot for having me on your show. Always looking forward to all your podcasts. Thank you so much. Yeah, can't wait to be on your podcast again, talking more about